Yesterday was part one of my loneliness. People just do not like me. Okay, so this is part two. And yeah, because basically I've had a lot on my mind. I've had many gripes. Many things are getting me very upset. Okay, and in my mind I'm suffering very, very badly about many things. And I've decided to just get it all off my chest and get it out into the ether. Just put on some music. Thing is, as I said, I'm just getting started really. So I was talking about people in my area where I live, how I got somebody or some people, sometimes they're coming in my flat when I'm not here. I don't know how they're getting in and tampering with my things. I'm being targeted and harassed. I'm being targeted in this way, and this has happened previously at a previous address, and I had to get some logs. I had to log the incidents with the housing and with 101, the police. I got some police logs for the incidents, and obviously they had to look into it, and I eventually moved from those addresses, you know, but the person at that time, somebody was living above me and they was harassing me, and but I think it was known that that person, they had some sort of mental health anyway, and it was known, so maybe that was the reason why it was taken more into consideration than this occasion. Because I'm finding on this occasion, that was like 3 years ago, no, it was 3 years ago, it was about 5 years ago that was. But on this occasion, at this address, I've been experiencing a different type of harassment, which is someone's been coming into my property and tampering with my door handles, messing about. They do other stuff as well, but because I don't have any evidence, all I keep being told by the authorities is to get a camera, a doorbell camera, on my door, so that I can see who's walking past my door and who might be coming in and out of my flat. But I don't know even if I do that, if that's gonna help any situation, because I'm not mentioning any names, you know. I like to keep people anonymous, you know, who I'm talking about in my videos, but I know somebody else who they've been experiencing, they have experienced in the past for many years, very similar thing, and they did exactly that. You know, they went through all the right channels. On each occasion, they logged it with the police, and they did absolutely nothing. They was advised the very same thing, to get a video cam on their door. And what ended up happening was, some people in the area, they're like, I don't know what they're involved with, but what they will do is hack the system, and if they know about electricals, they will turn off the camera. And this is what happened to somebody that I know. They turned off the cameras so that even the person was doing everything they could do to evidence what was going on, but the evidence itself was being tampered with. So that's where I just think, you know what, I just have to live and let live, and just try to forge forward and get on with what I'm doing. And as annoying and as irritating as it is, I have to just get on with, my best to ignore and get on with what I'm doing. But it's really not on, you know. And people, if anyone who's experiencing this type of targeting, you know, or harassment, you know, it's really just, it's not on, because you just, there's no one to turn to. You turn to the police to ask for their advice, to ask them to look into the situation, and they're just doing nothing about it, you know. And I start to question, for all I know, it could be them, it could be the police doing this themselves, you know. I don't know who it is. So what can you do? And then what happens is you start to be it's like a tactic they use, you know. The more that you mention this, they start to put question to you, to make you doubt your mind and start asking you about your mental health. So this is what happened with me. on one occasion, I thought, you know what, this is just not on. I'm going to just contact 101, the police, to let them know that this is going on. You know, get a log number, a log incident number, whatever else, ready. A police officer came to my property and they were like, well, we can't see how somebody's going to be getting into the property, you know. And more or less insinuating either it's just me thinking it, it's like it's in my head, or it could be my son messing about. My son, he's 6 years old. He's got much better things to do, okay? He knows. He's very clever. He's got much better methods of entertaining himself than messing about with the door handles, okay? And then they said to me I should go to my doctor and get my mental health assessed. So instead of addressing the issue, they just turn it around on me, do role reversal, and call into question me and my mental health, when my mental health has got nothing to do with broken door handles. Like, you know, you can see the door handles have been broken, but they're questioning me and my mental health. They're telling me to go to my doctor to get a mental health assessment. So it's basically, you know, what I'm talking, this is what my life is about, you know. It's just, if you're being targeted, you're being harassed by people, you know, you're being stalked by people, but then there's no one to turn to, there's no one to talk to about what you're going through, your situation, and each person you go to talk to about the situation, they're just turning the whole situation back around on you. So it leaves you to think, well, what am I supposed to do in this incident? You know, how am I supposed to deal with this? You know, what am I supposed to do? You know? So there's all that going on. But yeah, so I was saying that there's people like this in my area, and I've mentioned in some of my other videos how these grown men, yeah, they're just standing on street corners having mothers' meetings. They like gossip. They like to gossip. And I find this gossiping manner, I find it a very effeminate behaviour. Okay, so I'm describing these behaviours of these grown, mature men. I'm describing their behaviours as effeminate. I find it like effeminate behaviours that they're portraying. Okay, so these men, I'm describing them as having gay, effeminate behaviours, okay? But excuse me, and maybe my choice of vocabulary, okay? Because I have a lot of areas I want to self-develop, okay? And one area I want to develop is my, I want to extend my use of vocabulary, okay? So I apologise for that, because I'm not here to offend people, okay? And I don't want to offend gay people or homosexual people. Okay, to be quite frank, I'm not gay, okay, and the amount of emphasis that is put on the homosexual community in this country, I don't understand what's with the whole emphasis on the gay community. So, without saying that I couldn't care less about gay community, okay, but I don't care as much about the gay community as I feel that social media and the media tries to get us to care about gay issues and gay people. I really do not care that much about gay people. Like, to be honest with you, I really don't care too much about most things in this world, okay, because most things in this world are not that deep, okay, to be given large chunks and large portions of your brain capacity to care about. Okay, there's many things I can't give my attention to, so I do not give that much attention and that much emphasis, okay, to gay people and to the gay community. So I apologise when I'm describing these male behaviours in a negative way as gay. I'm not saying that to gay people to offend gay people, to offend gay men, okay? Because what I actually mean when I say I find these men around me, some of them, I find their behaviours effeminate and gay. What I mean is, they're not masculine behaviours, are they? You know? Is it a masculine behaviour to be creeping around, yeah, on the down low, sneaking into someone's property when they're not there, and breaking off the door from the door panel, you know, or moving their things, or taking food out the fridge? What kind of behaviour is that? It's not a masculine, mature man, masculine behaviour. Okay, so that's my way of expressing how I find these behaviours. I call them gay behaviours. Okay, but that's not to offend gay people and gay men. Okay, because I don't agree with gay behaviours. Okay, I'm Christian. Okay, and there's nowhere in the Bible it says homosexuality, okay, is acceptable. Okay, but as I said, I do not care too much about it. What two men want to do in the privacy of their own home between each other, I don't care too much about it. You know, that's between them. What they want to do, that's how a person wants to express themselves. I really don't care too much about it, really. And I have a lot of respect, actually, for some certain types of gay men. Okay, some gay men I find very gay, very, like, they've got this duplicitousness of mind, and I think a lot of them, they're just dirty, duplicitous, they cannot be trusted. I do find there's a certain aspect of some gay people like this, and there's another aspect of gay men, their creativity, their expression, their outwardness, okay? They have aspects of their personalities, of their characteristics that I actually respect, okay? So, for example, there's been a company that I used to go to that I've mentioned in many of my lives, okay, Birmingham Opera Company, okay, and the two people that ran that company, okay, they were gay, okay, gay homosexual men, okay, and I had, and I still have, okay, so much respect for those two gay men, okay, and I've said many things about that company, okay, both good and bad, but regardless of what I've said in the past, you know, I always, you know, I would say that, you know, they I really developed a lot. You know, I'll always be thankful, and I'll always be grateful, and I'll always appreciate the experience that I had taking part in that company, okay, because it gave me a lot of self-esteem, a lot of confidence, and a lot of self-development that I would say more than, you know, even my own family, more than anybody, I would say. They gave me that kind of self-esteem. So I'll always appreciate that, okay? And what I'm saying is, you know, I don't have an issue really with gay men, okay? So on my Facebook page, apparently I've been made something like top fan or something like that of Martin Bullard. And if you don't know who Martin Bullard is, hello, if you're joining my live, hi. If you don't know who Martin Bullard is, I didn't know who Martin Bullard is, okay, until I saw him on ITV This Morning programme, and he was talking all about his interior design. It was about probably like sometime at the beginning of the year, and I think they were showing his house, and as soon as I saw his house, I was just like, wow. I was like, just exactly the way he's designed his house, I could live there myself, you know. And my first thought was like, I just feel as if that guy has gone into my brain and has just like designed his house the way I would design my house if I was like an interior designer, you know. So as I said, I have a lot of respect for gay men, you know, and their creativity. So there's many gay singers as well that, you know, I really love their work, like Boy George, Sam Smith. To be honest, all the best singers in the world, the black women and gay men. You know, that's one thing that they both have in common. You know, black women and gay men. Yeah. All the best top singers, yeah, are black women or gay men. So people like, yeah, Boy George, Queen, what's his name, Freddie Mercury. Who else? Sam Smith. There's so many. There's too many. George Michael, you know. I love all these singers. I love all their work. So I just want to emphasise that point. When I'm calling these men in my area, when I'm saying that they've got gay behaviours, you have to excuse my limited use of vocabulary, okay? That's my point. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to say that. I wanted to make that point. The second point I wanted to make was, I've said in some of my lives, many years ago, I got baptised as a Mormon into the Mormon church. And I used to go for about 2 weeks. I went for about 2 weeks. I attended the sessions. And after that, I didn't really go anymore. Then after that, I used to just go now and again to different wards in my area. But I just, you know, that Mormon church, I always have mixed feelings about that Mormon church, because they always have missionaries in areas, don't they, on their mission. And if you've been baptised with them, then you get to talking to them. You say, hello, yeah, I used to be a member, I used to go along. And then they always try to get you to start coming back to the church. And since I've had my son, especially when he was like a baby and a toddler, I wanted to find like a regular church to go to, like on the weekends, because I think it's important, you know, for children. And you know, it's like another like social outlet when you're a single mum and, you know, you're trying to form new friendships, new relationships. Church is a good way to form new associations and to feel part of the community. So there's a few churches that I was going along to, you know, like the Sunday schools in the morning. Yeah, I wanted my son to go to the Sunday schools, because I think it's good, you know, for young children. It helps to instill them with good moral values and knowing how to behave properly and to have respect for people. You know, I think going to church like this or some sort of spiritual community is good for them, you know, in this sort of way. So because of that, you know, I started going back to the Mormon church. But, you know, when that happens, the missionaries that get assigned to an area, they tend to... So because of that, I started going back now and again. But, I don't know, every time I go along to the services, I just have like an apprehensive feeling about being a member of that church. And I just think church people in general, they're just... I don't know, I would like to find a church where I feel like I fit in with... to be honest, anywhere I go, I never feel like I fit in anywhere I go, in any group or any community. I always feel like the odd bod. I just feel like the odd person. And when I go along to that Mormon church, that's how I feel. I just feel like the odd bod. And I don't feel like there's any real effort really being done or being made to make you feel part of the community, you know, to feel welcome. There's no warmth, you know. You're supposed to... surely these people are representing Jesus, okay? So you're supposed to go along to the service and feel some sort of warmth, you know, feel some sort of love, you know, feel some sort of belonging, you know. But you really don't when you go along to these places. especially the Mormon church. Like, that's how I feel. And I'm 45. I'm trying to date, you know. I want to find a partner, somebody who, if at least I don't want to get married to, at least we can have some sort of agreement, you know, some sort of committed relationship, committed partnership, you know. And going along to church partly is for this reason, you know. And I don't know what it is, but the Islamic religion, they seem to have this down to the T. They seem to have this understanding, okay, about combining religion, spirituality with your real practical life. And your real practical life should involve, as a spiritual person, as a person professing that you have love and belief in God and you're trying to live a godly spiritual life, part of that real practical life involves family life, you know, and married life. Family life means a man and a woman coming together in matrimony to make family, to make children, okay. And as I said, the Islamic religion, I think the Indian and Asian culture in general, they seem to have that understanding, okay, that family life is an integral part of that foundation, okay, of having, of going forward, you know, in life, you know, with a partner, you know, making life with your children, having career, you have your career, your wealth and your prosperity, and you have your relationship, your husband, your wife, your family, okay? They have that understanding, okay? And I don't know what's going amiss, really, with the Christian religion, especially Church of England and Catholic, because all I hear the Church of England and Catholic religion, all I ever hear them talking about and going on about are gay rights, gay issues, homosexual this, homosexual that, a man getting married to another man, and this and that. And they just seem to totally exclude the need, the necessity, the importance of family life as an integral, foundational part of anyone's life. And especially as a woman, as a single woman, any age, any race, any colour, as a single woman, if you went to, like, any pastor, yeah, any priest or pastor to the church, I'm talking about mainly Church of England or Catholic, and you sat down with them and you really wanted to have one-on-one serious talk with them, say, listen, I'm looking for a husband, okay, I want to get married, okay, they're just gonna laugh at you. They're gonna act as if you're just a joke, or as if you just told them a joke. You know, they don't take it seriously at all. Especially, I'm saying, in comparison to the Islamic religion, you know, who seems to understand, you know, the importance of this thing. So I would say the Mormon church, they're different in this instance. They're more, they do take it seriously, but I find with the Mormon church, they're just more than a church. I just think they operate like an organisation, and they operate like, you know, it's like they're looking after certain people who they want to look after in the church. You know, maybe if they have if they've got wealth, money, or status, or are you dating for? Age is not a factor to me. I could date somebody who's younger than myself. I can date somebody who's much older than myself. 20 years younger than myself. 20 years older than myself. It's really about the chemistry that I have with that person and how I'm getting on with that person. And their maturity of mindset, because we're sometimes thinking maturity in terms of age, but that is not always the case. There's many 50-year-old men, there's many 60-year-old men, there's many 70-year-old men that have not grown up. They're still being boys, they're still playing around. Maybe some of them have been married and divorced, and then now they're just looking for like spring chicken to make them look good on their arm, or to just treat like a weekend lover. You know, they're not wanting something serious. Whereas you would find somebody who's 20 years younger than yourself who has that seriousness of mind, you know, who has that maturity of mind to think, you know what, I want a woman to be with and settle with, you know, to commit to. So age for me is not a factor. As for race is not a factor for me either, okay? But, you know, this is what I'm talking about, that it's not a factor, but it is a factor because, you know, obviously, for example, looks-wise, physique-wise, I like men who are like my colour, okay? Men who are sort of like, you know, I don't like to discriminate, basically, against colour. You know, I could date a white man, I could date an African guy, I could date an Asian guy, I could date a Jamaican guy. It really doesn't matter, you know, but what matters is that I'm physically attracted to that person, and that person is physically attracted to me, and that we have that mental connection. You know, that mental connection has to be there. Yeah, this is what I'm finding, that they're just looking after their own. They're looking after people who've got money, people who've got wealth, people who've got status, people who have some connection with the church, maybe through their bloodline, if somebody's related to one of their previous presidents from 1800 and whatever, you know, and I don't know if that church is racist or what, you know, but I think some of their, they need to kind of like update some of their belief systems. You know, need to get more like with the times, you know. So, yeah, I'm finding that when I go along to the Mormon church, you can see obviously I'm a woman of colour, yeah, I'm Jamaican, yeah, my blood is Jamaican, okay. So I don't see anybody there, like, potentially, okay, to date, somebody to potentially get married to, you know. And many times when I go along to the programs, I'm just feeling like, well, what am I here for? Yeah, I'm coming here for my son, you know, to make him involved in the community, as I said, to instill in him like good values. But I'm here for me as well, you know, I'm a person as well, you know, and I don't see that I'm getting anything out of this, you know. I'm just going along, I'm listening to people talk about this, talk about that. I don't even know what they're talking about half the time, you know. Go home, and like I said, there's just no real warmth, there's no real connection with anybody there. No real, like, connection. And this is another factor, this is another thing I want to talk about, is like my upbringing, yeah, and how, you know, when you're like Jamaican blooded, you know, it's like people that just have all these preconceptions about you and about the way you're supposed to behave. You know, oh, wagwan this and wagwan that, and blah 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 blah. And we didn't all have like the same upbringing. You know, I want to talk about that as well. But to be honest, thanks for joining my life. So yeah, so I was saying in Mormon church, how sometimes when the missionaries are in the area and they're inviting you to come along to the church program, and so every now and again I'll go along, but each time I attend I just have this I just have this apprehensive feeling. You know, like, double way of feeling. Like, I have this double-edged feeling. You know. I have this double-edged feeling in general about Mormon church in general. Maybe because I do think it's church that they do deal with both the light and the dark energies or something. Yeah, I do find them to be like that. But part of what's bringing this apprehensive feeling is, you know, you'll go along and in the corridors they have all these pictures, don't they? They have pictures of Joseph Smith. And then they have this picture of Jesus, you know, his face is all in white, you know, his garments, you know. And they have these pictures of, you know, in the Book of Mormon. And it talks about when Jesus went to the continent of America. He arrived in that continent. And there's a picture of all these, like, American Indian looking people, and they're all sort of, there's a big hill like this. I don't know if it's supposed to be the Mount of Olives or something. And they're all, you know, leaning like this on the mountain, offering up all their jewels and all their gold and all their possessions like this, you know. They're offering them all up. And I think it's supposed to be Jesus. I don't know if it's Jesus or Mormon. The dude whose name's Mormon. He's like standing there like this. Yeah, at the top of the mountain. Yeah, like, yeah, come on. Bring all your gifts to me. Yeah, give me all your possessions. You know, give me all your jewels. You know, give me all your gold. Give me... So... when I really observe that image, you know, that particular picture, you know, it just disturbs me, you know. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, what kind of church is this? You know, because really they look to me, just in that picture alone, they just look like they're upholding this idea of white supremacy, you know. And that's what I've started to think, and that's been my feeling lately about this church. I think they're just a church, okay? An American church, obviously, they were established in America. I think they just want to uphold that whole system and that whole idea of slavery. And, like, you know, we were all the good people. We were the good white people, yeah. We're the good white saviours, yeah, who came to the continent and killed off all you American Indians, yeah, and took all your possessions because we're the good white people and you're just the bad blackies, yeah. You're the bad black and Indian people with your voodoo witchcraft, yeah. So we're just going to slay you all and take everything you have. Thank you very much. Okay? And that picture, that's what it's depicting. You know, and even in the Book of Mormon, as far as I'm concerned, that's the story they're telling. They're not telling any story of, like, God or Jesus or Christianity or love or warmth or fellow human brotherhood. It's all to do with, you know, the history of the American continent. You know, this fight they had between you know, us good Christian saviours, yeah. We're giving you Jesus in return for all your material possessions. Thank you very much. You know, so yeah, the last few times I've gone to the Mormon church, I had to tell the missionaries when they were texting me, WhatsApping me, I had to say to them, listen, I don't think I'm going to be returning much back to this church. And I almost told them I might start going to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, to be quite frank. Yeah. And actually, if I see them again, I might have this conversation with them. You know, that I really think all those images they have on the wall, I really think they should change at least half of them to depict Jesus, you know, as like a black Jesus instead of this white and blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus. Because even the Russian president, even Putin came out and declared Jesus was a black man. And he said there was a vault that was discovered that had all these ancient artifacts and ancient Bibles and ancient images of Jesus and the disciples, Mary Magdalene, and how they're all depicted black. They're all depicted with dark skin. Okay, and these were like, these images, these artifacts, they were more original than, they were older and more original than all these other images that we've seen, you know, since the Renaissance. You know, it was the Renaissance art. They call it iconoclasm, don't they? Iconoclasm was like a period in history where it was like it was a systematic propagandaic thing. The Western world, Rome, they did on purpose, where they took all the ancient artifacts and images they had of Jesus and the disciples, the Madonna, you know, Mary holding the baby, you know, they're all black images, and they defaced them and they defiled them, took them all, copied them all, and made them all, turned them all into white images. What were originally images depicting darker skinned race people, they changed them all and made them white images. Images of white people, Caucasian people, with fair skin, fair hair, and all of that. And I was just about to say we all know, okay, but actually we don't all know. And not everybody does know these things, you know, we're all still learning. Okay, in Ethiopia, they have, it's a country that has a lot of these old, like, scrolls, artifacts, documentation of the original Hebrew disciples, people, Mary Magdalena, Jesus, and all of that. They're all dark-skinned people. In the Bible, all the pictures of them are all dark-skinned people. So, you know, why were they depicting them dark-skinned people? Obviously, they must have been dark-skinned people. So, this knowledge, you know, of history, okay, of ancient history, it's being revealed, okay, it's all there on the internet. So, churches, like the Mormon Church, personally, I think they really need to, like, get with it and understand, you know, and change, you know, some of their depictions. Yeah, and as for that Mormon book, I don't know really what I think about that Mormon book. I believe Bible that it's word of God. As for that Mormon book, I don't know I haven't had any revelation or any testimony to say, yeah, I believe that Mormon book is like the word of God. I don't know who wrote that Mormon. Title of my live is I'm Lonely, People Do Not Like Me. So obviously, you know, I'm pretty sure you've gathered, yeah, a lot of what I'm talking about has to do with race, my culture. And I suppose what I'm saying ultimately is that I really don't feel I fit in. I don't fit in that Mormon church. I don't fit in this community where I am. I just find wherever I go, to be honest, I don't hardly ever see any other people who look like me. Even from my features, you can see I have like high cheekbones. I have like quite straight nose. You can see I have like some element of like American Indian-ish look in me, about me. Us people, Jamaican people, if you want to call us Jamaican, that we just, I find I'm always just being I feel like I'm always being expected to conform to a type rather than be myself. That's what I'm saying. And when my personality, my essence, doesn't conform to a type, what people expect, they don't like it. Yeah. And I find people don't like me because they just always, before they get to know me, they have this preconceived notion that I'm going to be a certain way, or that I'm going to have some sort of rudeness about me, being rude or cheeky or loud. And I'm not like that. I'm not a rude person. I'm not a loud person, you know. So this is what I'm talking about. I find when I don't conform to this type, and people, you know, they don't like it. They don't like me.